Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If you are brand new to my channel, yay, you finally found me. I'm so glad. And if you're a returning subscriber, yay, thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. Anytime you like, subscribe, or comment down below, it spreads magical YouTube fairy dust all over my channel so people can find it, so it can grow. My goal is to save you time and money. So I'll point out things that I liked, things I didn't like, tips for parents, interesting lines, funny lines, recommendations for other films that are somewhat similar, and give you a quick overcap in a nutshell. So first of all, the movie I'm reviewing today is called The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. This fun action thriller is based on a true story and premieres in theaters on April 19th, 2024. The film is rated R, and I'll give you some tips for parents about that. It's 2 hours long. My overall movie review mom grade is a B. So, in a nutshell, believe it or not, this story is based on a true story. It's kind of an origin story of sorts behind the first ever British Special Forces unit during World War II. A small group of highly skilled soldiers is set up to strike against German forces behind enemy lines. You'll surely recognize the style before you realize who directed this fun flick, Guy Ritchie. He and Jerry Bruckheimer, big name in Hollywood, and several others produced the film. Writing credits go to Paul Tamisi, Eric Johnson, and Arash Amel. So some tips for parents are that there is a lot of bloody violence with various weapons as well as hand-to-hand combat. I was kind of surprised how bloody, gory, and brutal it was. I thought it would just be, I don't know, just more family friendly. I don't know why I even thought that, but it's not. We see a lot of Nazis die. Alan Ritchson's character explains to everyone that they're now in Nazi heaven. And of course, there's some satisfaction in seeing bad Nazis die. But again, there are some brutal deaths, and you're just like, oh, there is some profanity, including F bombs, tons of destruction, explosions, and dangerous situations. People are in dangerous situations the entire film, really. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well are World War II, teamwork, courage, good versus evil, critical thinking skills, hope, thinking outside the box, and perseverance. So there's a long list of things that I really liked about this movie. First of all, the cast is stellar. I have a friend who refers to this movie as the quote, the five handsome guys movie, end quote. Yeah, she's got that right. The stud muffins are more than five, and they include Henry Cavill, Henry Golding, Alan Ritchson, Carrie Yules, Alex Pettyfer, Hero Finds Tiffin, Babs Olusanmoken. I probably didn't pronounce his name correctly. Sorry about that. Henry Zaga and Till Schweiger. I guess it really could be called the Three Henrys movie because there's so many Henrys in the cast. They all do a terrific job and look like they're having an absolute blast. And that enthusiasm always rubs off on the audience. Eliza Gonzalez rounds out the cast, is just gorgeous in the film and plays a very important role in the film. There is plenty of humor, action, and eye candy for everybody. What more could we ask for? Well, maybe a little bit more depth, but it still is a really good time. The film is based on a true military event called Operation Postmaster. So hopefully people will enjoy the movie enough to want to learn more about that particular piece of interesting history. Documents about these events were only recently declassified and released in 2016. The original music by Christopher Nissen and Christopher Benstead, the two Chris's and the three Henrys. Well, the Henrys were the actors. The Christophers are the music. Anyway, the music is sexy and whimsical, just like the film. I'm always amused by Guy Ritchie's clever transitions and fun camera angles and just interesting way that he composites each scene. There's a lot of action, great stunts, interesting fight sequences and often humorous fight sequences. I love that we get to see photos of the real people involved in the events, as well as be able to read a little bit about them at the end of the movie on screen. It tells you basically where these people went and what they did after the events that unfold in the movie itself. Now, with all of that praise, there were really only a couple of things that I didn't like or just thought could have been done better or differently. For example, I definitely have seen better portrayals of Winston Churchill in film. Now, I think that the actor gave it his all, but it just kind of missed the mark. I wanted to have just, an epic Winston Churchill because he was so epic. And turns out I'm actually related to him. Anyway, and then the other thing was I would have loved to have learned more about this group and this mission. That might have bogged down the movie because it's pretty quick, lots of action. I mean, basically action sequence to action sequence with a little bit of talking in between, some exposition to explain some stuff. But still, I would have liked to have known more about where these soldiers came from. I don't know. I just kind of felt like it was not as deep as I would have liked it to take a dive. I said that weird, didn't I? All right. So whenever I watch movies, I write notes, of course, but I specifically write down funny lines and interesting lines simply so I can share them with you so you can get a taste and feel for the dialogue and the script writing quality. You can see all of them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, but I'll share some of them with you right now. So there's a character, a real person in real life called Gus March Phillips. He's played by Henry Cavill. And then he's having a conversation with Brigadier Gubbins, and they call him M. He's played by Carrie Yules. Anyway, and so Henry Cavill's character says, if I'm to do this, I'll need my own team. You won't like them. They're all mad. And then the Brigadier says, they'll need to be. And I thought that that was an interesting and funny line. And then another conversation between the two, Gus March Phillips states, we both know that I'm not very popular with the administration. And then the Brigadier says, the reason they find you unattractive is the very reason I find you attractive. Not romantically, of course, but attractive to lead this mission. And then again, Gus March Phillips says, what do we have here? Gestapo. And then Henry Golding's character says, how do you know? Henry Cavill's character again says, the badder they are, the better they're dressed. I really must get me one of those coats. So there's lots of repartee and fun banter throughout. And as expected, these amazingly skilled guys are just super casual and they kind of go about it laughing like it's no big deal, but it is a big deal what they do. And then I wrote down a couple of interesting lines. One is spoken by Rory Kinnear, who plays Winston Churchill, and he says, it's not appeasement, it's failure. And I wish we could have gotten even more from Winston Churchill in terms of dialogue and really great lines, because what an incredible leader he was. But really, the movie is not about him. It's about these guys, these special forces guys. And then another interesting line that Winston Churchill states is, we're losing the war. Hitler is not playing by the rules, so neither are we. And that's why it's called the ungentlemanly war or warfare, just because they're breaking the rules of proper engagement that the British for centuries followed. And, and of course, some people will say that's why America beat the British during the American Revolution, is because they were very proper in their approach to fighting the colonists, and the American colonists were not having it. And they broke all the rules and kind of, some would say, invented guerrilla warfare. Anyway, super, super interesting. Let me give you 4 recommendations of films I instantly thought of as I was watching this. The first one is called Come Out Fighting. And it's a World War II movie based on a true story that you've probably never heard of before. It's not a great movie, like a big Hollywood blockbuster like this one is, but it's still a really interesting story. And I am fascinated by all of the movies that come out of telling true stories of World War II. I'm like, wow, we're still hearing news stories. Another one that I just reviewed is called Irina's Vow. Also, true story, World War II. And I'm so fascinated with that time period. And it was beautifully made. And you can see my review, actually, of all four of these movies. Another one that I did, I think it came out last year, is called Operation Mincemeat. Also, true story, World War II. And I liked it because there's a lot of intrigue, a lot of tension, a lot of humor, and just fascinating to learn about all of these little missions that went on. And no single one won the war, but without all of these little efforts, we could have lost World War II. We all could be speaking German right now. Well, actually, I am learning German on Duolingo, which has been really fun because I am going to Germany and Austria this summer. Anyway, and speaking of that, the final one I wanted to mention to you is called Cesu, also a true story. Now, this movie is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. It is a bloodbath. But what's fascinating is it's one guy up against the Nazis, and he takes them all out in vicious, brutal ways. And if that sounds like a good time for you, you might enjoy that movie. But if this movie that I'm reviewing today is too violent, then that one's going to definitely be over the top. It's crazy, but it's a true story. It's amazing. All right, hopefully my reviews are helpful to help you decide if you want to spend time or money watching a particular film. If they do help you make the decision on whether or not you want to go see this movie, give my video a thumbs up or subscribe. And by the way, all four of those movies have links in the description below. They'll take you to Amazon where you can either rent or purchase those movies, and it doesn't cost you a penny more. But if you use those links and click on them, Amazon rewards me. And so I appreciate the financial support. All right, have a fantastic day. And when you get a minute, run over to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media platforms where you can follow me and learn more about my books, my online courses, my products, of course, when my movie reviews come out and all of that. Have a fantastic day. Bye for now.